Hey boys and girls, super scientists, are you ready to learn something new? Well, last week we studied ladybugs and the week before we studied ants. So guess what is on the agenda for this week? Caterpillars and butterflies. I'm super excited to share a lot of exciting information about that, and especially monarch butterflies. We're going to be learning about monarch butterflies. So this week, we're going to learn a little bit about, or today, we're going to learn a little bit about the migration of a monarch butterfly. So monarch butterflies take a very, very long journey, about 3,000 miles, from Mexico to Canada and from Canada back to Mexico. And there are 4 generations, and the beginning generations of the butterflies do not make that long journey. It's only the butterflies that are born in September that actually make that long journey. And I'll explain a little bit about that later. So I'm going to share the screen and I'm going to play for you just a 1-minute video that very quickly explains a little bit about the monarch butterfly and its migration. And then we'll meet back here and we'll talk a little bit more about that, okay?
This is a monarch butterfly. Butterflies and moths belong to the order Lepidoptera. Monarchs depend on milkweeds because they are the only plants that monarch caterpillars can eat. The adult butterflies drink the nectar of flowers. The monarch butterfly contains milkweed poisons that it ate when it was still a caterpillar. The monarch is the only butterfly that migrates for very long distances, like some birds do. During the fall migration, sugars from nectar are stored as fat in the butterfly's abdomen. This fat is necessary fuel for the butterflies to complete their migration and overwinter successfully. The monarchs that emerge in September and early October are the migrants. They will live 6 to 8 months. Because they are the great-grandchildren of the butterflies that flew north the previous spring, they have never been to the overwintering sites in California or central Mexico. And yet, somehow, they find their way, probably through an inherited behavior pattern. The monarch's overwintering sites in the forests of the mountain ranges in central Mexico are about 10,000 feet, or 3,000 meters, above sea level. The tall trees make a thick canopy, helping to protect the monarchs from wind, snow, rain, or hail. Fog and clouds settle on the trees and provide moisture. To conserve energy, the butterflies cluster on trees where the temperature is just above freezing. They cover whole tree trunks and branches. Hundreds of millions of butterflies can overwinter in Mexico in 1 year. On the forest floor, the butterflies find nectar sources among the flowering plants. On sunny days, the butterflies often warm up enough to fly to nearby creeks and puddles where they drink water. Monarchs begin mating as the weather warms in the spring. By early March, they fly back north in masses. The females must find early sprouts of milkweed on which to lay their eggs.
Have fun. All right, guys. So that was pretty interesting, right? So the butterflies that emerge in September and October are actually the ones that make the long journey. There are many generations before them that actually do not make that long journey. They only live about 2 to 6 weeks. So I'm going to show you a map and I'm going to explain a little bit more about that. But it's pretty amazing the amount of distance they fly. So they actually fly about 3,000 miles, and every day they fly between 50 to 100 miles every single day. So let me share with you the screen really quick. All right, and I'll take these off here for 1 second. I was kind of playing around. So this is butterfly migration. And when you go on to Seesaw, this is actually what you're going to see. And it's going to be your job to label the different parts of the country and then to label the path that they took in their migration. So for example, you see here a big map. And what's going to happen is you're going to open this up and you're going to find the little finger and you're going to click on the finger, okay, or the hand. And you're going to find the map of the United States. So the biggest portion of this map is the United States. So you're going to find the letter U, and that is United States, and you're going to put that right in the middle of the map, okay? And then the next part up here, this area is Canada, because the United States borders Canada. So we're going to find the word that begins with a K. We're going to put Canada up here. And then down here, where the butterflies actually migrate to and from, is Mexico. So gotta go to Mexico. So if you are a butterfly, a monarch butterfly that is in Canada or in California, you will migrate to Mexico because it gets cold in Canada and in the northern part of the United States. So they migrate back down to Mexico because they want to be in the warmer weather. And so what happens is they find this forest with tall trees like they showed you in the video, and that's where they do something called overwintering. And all that means is that they stay there for the winter. All right? So the butterflies migrate back and forth. So the first generation starts here, and then they lay their eggs, and they're born, and then they live for about 2 to 6 weeks, and they begin to make this journey. And here's the second generation, where they stop and they lay their eggs, and they last for about 2 to 6 weeks, and as they are born and they emerge, they begin to fly a little further. And same thing over again. And then finally, the fourth generation is all the way up here. And it gets very, very cold here. So what happens? The fourth generation that's born in September and October, they will make that journey back to Mexico. Gotta go to Mexico. All right. So guys, it's going to be your job to go on to Seesaw and label these different parts and label the path. And then I really would like you to go back and on Seesaw, let me see if I click this. No. If you go on to our, let's see, if you go back, you might be able to see this. If you go back, before you go to, aha, oh no, that's not it. Here it is. Okay, so if I say add response to this, oh, it didn't come up. Well, anyways, when you first open it up, there is going to be a link for a National Geographic story. And it's really important, guys, that you listen to that story. It's a little bit long, but that's okay. I would like you to listen to it. You can listen to it a little bit in parts if you really want, but it has a lot of really good information. So I'd really like you to take the time to listen to that because that's going to help you fill in the migration chart. Okay? So my super scientists, I am super glad to see you guys again. And I love you and miss you. And I will see you back here tomorrow. And we'll talk more about monarch butterflies. All right? See you soon, guys.